Welcome to the Fantasy Thinker. I'm Jared Kodamish, and today I'm going to be doing a review of Mark Lawrence's The Book That Wouldn't Burn. I really love this book. Yes, I love The Book That Wouldn't Burn. This book is about a magical library. How can you not want to read it? How can you not like it? You're a book people. Magical library. Seriously, though, Mark Lawrence has created a wonderful setting and a truly magical story. Um, the book essentially has two protagonists, Levira and Eva, who are also our only two points of view. And while this limits our perspective on the world and its surroundings, it also serves as like a great discovery tool as we learn right along with these characters, not only about the world and the events they are involved in, but the mystery that surrounds their existence. And it's really cool. Like what we see, what we do see at the world building is like exquisite. It will uh, it will give you this like sense of awe and wonder, and hint at all the dangers and obstacles in the characters' paths. And, although we're given plenty of answers by the end of the book, we are also left with many enticing and engaging questions for the rest of this trilogy, because this is the first book in the library trilogy that just came out this year. And so there's going to be, two more. Um, and the two fully realized and well fleshed out main characters are very likable and charming in their own ways, and you will find yourself rooting for them as they try to discover more about themselves and their role in this world. The setting is also a fully realized character on its own. I mean, didn't I mention the magical library? It's a library, magical. And so not only do you learn about this place with its like ever growing mysteries, but you come to love it really, and its place in this whole multiverse he created here. Um, so Lawrence plays around with some very cool themes in his tale. One of the themes is like the very passage of time and how it can make us feel small with its passage, because time is just this huge thing. And like there are instances where time weighs on some of the characters in various contexts. Like how time heals wounds, both physical and emotional, and how time is kind of this invisible servant that plays with our perceptions. He has a lot of concepts like that, and he plays with ideas about how if one stays around too long, it's almost more like you are refused permission to die rather than living life. And that twist in our perceptions and that concept of time passing, and time plays a big role in the history of the library and all the stories contained within. Um, and with books in mind, because it's a library, another theme that Lawrence plays with is knowledge. And we get knowledge from books, and so he asks questions about how we obtain the knowledge, how we interpret it, how we retain it, and what we do with it. And one of the lessons in the book is that having access to knowledge doesn't mean you can necessarily use it well, and that you can drown in it too much. You can drown in too much of it if you don't know how to disseminate it. And he infers that knowledge is something that exists to pierce the smoke of ignorance surrounding mystery. But he also cautions that knowledge can be used against itself and can possibly create more destruction than enlightenment at times. And so these are just some of the fascinating things that he delves into when it comes to knowledge. And of course, related to knowledge is the theme of truth, and how truth, and this is a quote, truth casts many shadows, some of which are very different when the light shines from one direction than from another. And I love that quote from the book. And I thought that was very fitting. And, it tells us that there is a big difference between truth and facts and perceptions and feelings. And in addition to that, Lawrence delves into the idea that truth can be what a consumer, like a reader, a viewer, etc., um, wants it to be. How affirmation of one's own views can also be mistaken for truth. And that's all some people actually want, you know? And some people don't want a truth, they want their truth. And that's part of the themes that he plays with in here. Finally, there's the theme of stories. This is a story, and these are books. And it's about books, and books have stories. And but mainly, it's actually the stories that we tell ourselves to make sense of our lives. And it's about what we take from stories and what we put out as our story in return. So, if you can't tell, I like this book. I cannot wait for the next book in this series. So, do yourself a favor and make the time to read the book that wouldn't burn by Mark Lawrence. And with that in mind, please be good to each other and